Assalamu alaikum. I'm here to discuss, to understand Oliver Goldsmith's Stoops to Conquer. Oliver Goldsmith is an Irish playwright, novelist, and poet. Oliver Goldsmith, uh, is not a very prominent name like William Congreve, George Farquhar, William George Etheridge, but still he is enjoyed among the English students. And his first play was The Good-Natured Man, which was produced in 1768, and the second play is Stoops to Conquer. It was first written in 1771, and then it was performed in 1773. Goldsmith, in his play, this particular play, She Stoops to Conquer, tries to present a very true picture of English social life of 18th century. In particular, the country life, the rural life, their lifestyle, their customs and practices. All these aspects are very beautifully portrayed in his play. And at the same time, he addressed some important issues like love, marriage, and money, theme of money. So these are the basic traits of Oliver Goldsmith's present play, He Stoops to Conquer. It has two titles. He Stoops to Conquer has two titles. The first title or the main title is She Stoops to Conquer that we use today. And the other title is The Mystics of the Night. What are the significances of these two titles? She Stoops to Conquer. This title is directly related to the heroine of the play, Kate or Miss Hardcastle. Kate was interested in Marlowe, and to win the heart of Marlowe, to attract Marlowe, and to make Marlowe somewhat more social with women, she took and Kate disguised herself as a barmaid. So this title is very much relevant and related to the main, not the main character, the heroine, I should say, Miss Hardcastle, and this is still used. The title She Stoops to Conquer, but the other title, The Mystics of the Night, this is related to another important character, almost I should say on the central character play, that is Tony Lumpkin. Tony Lumpkin misguided Hastings and Marlowe, and Tony Lumpkin, in fact, wanted to take revenge on his mother. For that reason, he misguided these two guys to Mr. Hardcastle's house, and Tony Lumpkin told them, Hastings and Marlowe, that actually Mr. Hardcastle's house is an inn. So all the troubles start here. They considered Mr. Hardcastle's house as an inn, and they made some mistakes there. Because when we are in inn, we behave in a particular way, and when we are in someone's house, we behave in other way. So Marlowe and Hastings considered Mr. Hardcastle's house as an inn, and they started ordering food. They started ordering the place for sleep, and they behaved with the servants as waiters. So these are the mistakes, and these mistakes are very important because these mistakes give us an insight about the characters and insight into the structure of the play, because these mistakes lead us to the duality of that character. Duality, I mean, what appears is not actually, or in reality, is not there. And this is very much evident in the character of Marlowe, Miss Hardcastle, Tony Lumpkin. So the mistakes are very important here, and this is taken as a title for the play, the alternative title, This Looks to Conquer. Whatever, let's move to the next slide and see what is there. Uh, Sentimental drama. This is a genre of drama, particularly in 18th century, Our present play, She Stoops to Conquer, is not a sentimental drama. But to understand the play, I feel the necessity to give you an outline of sentimental drama so that you can identify your present play as an anti-sentimental drama. Sentimental drama is an 18th century dramatic genre which sprang up as a reaction to the immoral tone of English Restoration plays. So these words are very important. Look at the slide. Immoral tone of English Restoration plays. Was there anything immoral in Restoration plays? What do you think, students? Please respond. What do you think? Is there anything immoral in Restoration plays? Definitely. The Restoration plays uh, demonstrated vulgarity, vulgar dialogues, concepts, and the obscenity was almost shameful. It reached almost a shameful level. The dramatists like William Congreve, Etheridge, Farquhar, they all displayed this very obscenity or immoral elements in the drama in the on the stage. Why? To be simple in my answer, I should say the society was like that. It was the reflection of the society. If literature is the mirror of life, can drama be detached from mirroring the life from society? It's not possible. What happened to the Restoration Society? You know, the King Charles II, led a very immoral life. He was addicted to wine and women. He was addicted to music, and his immoral practices in personal life misguided the whole court and thus the whole society. So people of that society took it for granted that if I want to be immoral, if I want to live an immoral life, it's nothing unfair. And this very thing was practiced everywhere in the society, especially in particular among the upper class people, among the uh, aristocrat people. This very thing was practiced. So the 18th century dramatic genre, particularly sentimental drama, started reacting against this immoral tone of drama because in 18th century morality was considered very important under the rule of Queen Anne. Queen Anne was queen of strict morality, so she never let it happen. She imposed a strict control over literature and every expression of theater and drama and poetry. So in 18th century literature, you will find, always you will find a tone of morality is preached, morality preached, though it had an artificial impact on literature. Even then, it is noticeable. It was very much evident uh, the tone of morality. In sentimental comedies, I've tried to explain it further. Middle class protagonists triumphantly overcome a series of moral trials. Series of moral trials. These plays aim to produce tears rather than laughter and reflected contemporary philosophical conceptions of humans as inherently good, but capable of being led astray by bad example. So this type of drama, the sentimental comedies aimed at producing tears rather than laughter. This is the problem here. This is the point here to mention. Comedy must aim to produce mirth and laughter. Mirth and laughter. But if comedy is aimed to produce tears, then laughter, it cannot be taken for a real comedy, pure comedy. And sentimental drama let the expression of emotion in a way which is extravagant, which was extravagant, and humans are considered inherently good but capable of being led astray by bad example. By appealing to his noble sentiments, a man could be reformed and set back on the path of virtue. So this is the basic idea of sentimental drama. When we compare our present play, She Stoops to Conquer, against this concept, it will be clear, it will be open to us that She Stoops to Conquer does not fall in this particular genre this sentimental drama. Rather, it is an anti-sentimental drama. And because she stoops to conquer, you'll see that it is full of pure comedy, full of laughter, mirth, though there are dramatic ironies and other elements, all other elements of comedy are present there. So there is no chance of considering She Stoops to Conquer as a sentimental drama. Rather, it is an anti-sentimental drama. An sentimental drama is also known as drama of sensibility. This is a point to note. This is also considered drama of sensibility. Let's see what anti-sentimental drama is. Anti-sentimental drama comes to existence. Anti-sentimental drama comes to existence in the reaction against the sentimental comedy. So, dramas like She Stoops to Conquer came in existence in reaction against the sentimental comedy. So this is somewhat different, almost opposite. It is also considered as comedy of manners. You know what comedy of manners is? In 18th century uh, context and in restoration context, comedy of manners can be referred to as comedy of lifestyle of upper class people, aristocrat and rich people. Their lifestyle, their ways of thinking, behaving, their values, morals, all these things can be considered as elements of comedy of manners. There are very important and memorable comedy of manners, and all these plays are anti-sentimental drama. And Oliver Goldsmith can be considered the pioneer of anti-sentimental comedy. Characteristics of anti-sentimental comedy. Let's look into the basic points that should be considered when we are judging an anti-sentimental comedy. There must be amusing intrigue and situation. She Stoops to Conquer has amusing intrigue, definitely. Intrigues are there because the play, in the play, we see a character who is a Tony Lumpkin. Tony Lumpkin is a rustic boy, uneducated, rural boy, and who is considered by his parents an awkward booby, an awkward booby. So he actually, in reality, Tony Lumpkin is not a bad person, but he loves drinking, merrymaking, fun, and Tony Lumpkin played a trick on Hastings and Marlowe just to take revenge on his mother. And he started the intrigue. He misguided these two gentlemen to Mr. Hardcastle's house, and he put them into a state of misunderstanding with Mr. Hardcastle and Mrs. Hardcastle. So he started the intrigue, and there are other intrigues and interesting and amusing intrigues. We'll find that our heroine Kate also plans an intrigue, but these intrigues are nothing negative. These intrigues are nothing harmful to anyone. Rather, they lead us to some jovial moments, some funny moments, mirth and laughter. So these intrigues are amusing, and the second point is satirical comedy and irony. Satire is there in She Stoops to Conquer, and irony is there. What is irony in comedy? Uh, a thing of which the audience is aware. Audience is aware of, but the characters are ignorant. It means, uh, for example, an event is happening on the stage, and the reasons and background of this event is known by the audience beforehand. But the characters involved, they appear to be ignorant about the reasons and background of the event. For example, we know that Mr. Hardcastle's house is not an inn, but Marlowe and Hastings, they considered Mr. Hardcastle's house as an inn. So they started making mistakes. Definitely, it creates some fun. It creates moments of entertainment, and this is dramatic irony, and it produces laughter. So in She Stoops to Conquer, this very characteristic is present, and it can be considered the dramatic irony. The third point, marriage for love and marriage for money. Marriage for love is there. Love is one of the basic themes of She Stoops to Conquer, and marriage for money is also there. For example, Tony Lumpkin decides to marry a country girl who is bet bouncer. He knows if he marries bet bouncer, he will get nothing. He will get uh, no fortune. But still, he decides to marry that country girl because he loves her. So there is no point, or there is no money theme involved. But marriage for money is also present in the play. We see Mrs. Hardcastle is very much willing to mm, materialize the marriage of Tony and Miss Constance. Why? Because Miss Constance is a niece to Mrs. Hardcastle, and her jewels, all her jewels, are deposited to Mrs. Hardcastle because she is the guardian of Constance, Neville Constance, and to have the possession of the jewels, Mrs. Hardcastle is willing to see the marriage between Tony Lumpkin. Tony is her son, who is pampered enough by Mrs. Hardcastle. So she wants to see the marriage between Neville and Tony. The only reason is money. There is another issue when Kate appeals to Marlowe, saying that she is just a poor relation of the family and she doesn't have any fortune. Marlowe refuses Kate on grounds that it's not possible to marry Kate because she is a poor girl and there is no chance of having the fortune. So money played a very important role in decision making process of marriage. So this is one of the characteristics which is present in She Stoops to Conquer. The next point is wit of language and verbal dialogue. Restoration comedies uh, are famous, are particular, distinguishable for their witty dialogues, verbal dialogues which are witty, wit of language. What is wit? Exchange, smart exchange of words, intelligent and smart exchange of words between the characters. So this uh, distinguishing characteristic can be noticed in William Congreve's drama and in other playwrights' works from Restoration period. And in 18th century plays, also we find this particular quality, wit of language and verbal dialogue. In our present play, She Stoops to Conquer, there are examples and instances of wit, witty dialogues that I will discuss in a later slide very clearly. Next point is purse and disguise. Disguise is there, purse is there. Our heroine, Miss Hardcastle or Kate, disguises herself as a barmaid to change the mind of Marlowe, to judge Marlowe, really, to judge Marlowe. He disguised herself. So disguise is there. Emotions have boundaries. In sentimental plays, sentimental drama, emotions don't have any boundaries. They are unlimited, and hence they are considered of low quality. They are considered of shabby presentation of emotion. But in anti-sentimental comedy, we see emotions have boundaries. Emotions are restricted. And in general, if I talk in general, in 18th century literature, emotions must have been limited. Emotions must have some boundaries. It was the norm of writing anything, norm of literature in 18th century. You are not allowed to express your mind freely and emotionally. There must be some restriction, and this very thing is present in the present play, He Stoops to Conquer. Characters, this is very important to know the characters of a play before entering the plot or main story. First of all, we should see that there is Sir Charles Marlowe. Sir Charles Marlowe is a very decent man who is a friend of Mr. Hardcastle and father of Marlowe, the father of young Marlowe. He is a respectable and aristocratic fellow from the town, and he believes that his son is also a man of modest character. Though his son Marlowe demonstrated somewhat different view, but it was his belief, and he knew that his son has moved to the village, and there is a probable marriage. There is a chance of marriage between young Marlowe and Kate. Next comes the name Marlowe, the young Marlowe, who is the son of Sir Charles Marlowe, and ostensibly the hero of a play, respectable fellow, definitely, who comes to Mr. Hardcastle's house to see the prospect of marrying Kate Hardcastle. But he has a problem. Marlowe has a problem, which is he is very shy among the ladies or women of his own class. He, but he is lively and excitable with women of lower class. This is a psychological issue here. Marlowe feels comfortable with ladies who are of lower class than him, and this problem is important in relation to the play because Kate understood that Marlowe is not very comfortable with Kate or Miss Hardcastle. For that reason, Kate disguised herself and she presented herself before Marlowe as barmaid. Mr. Hardcastle is the friend of Sir Charles Marlowe, a country squire, I should say, a country squire. Uh, and Mr. Hardcastle is the patriarch of Hardcastle family, owner of an estate. He despises the ways of town. He loves everything that is old. He loves old things. Simple country life he likes, and old-fashioned traditions he likes, which is very contrasting to his wife, Mrs. Hardcastle. Hastings is a friend of Marlowe and a lover of Constance Neville. Hastings also arrives with young Marlowe with a mind to marry Constance. But Hastings is remarkable here as a character because he wants to marry Constance without her money. So love without money, marriage without money is present here in Hastings. Tony Lumpkin is the son of Hardcastle, and he is the son of Mrs. Hardcastle from her earlier marriage. So Mr. Hardcastle is his stepfather, and Tony is freewheeling. His freewheeling ways of drinking and some foolery. He loves fun, merrymaking, drinking, and actually he loves to play practical jokes, which you see here. He plays prank with his mother in the garden episode, in the garden scene. And but ultimately, we find him as a very good-natured man, as a very good character, which is who is not harmful to anyone. Rather, who is beneficial because he promises to help Hastings and Constance to make their plan of elopement successful. So Tony is not selfish. Rather, Tony uh, is very willing to help others, though he is a fun-loving boy. Diggory is Hardcastle's head servant. Mr. Hardcastle had his servants trained. He tried to train them on some particular points as how to receive guests from the town, how to receive uh, the polished guests, and how to behave with them. But his servants are not smart enough to practice that training. Diggory is one of them. He made a mistake in handing over a letter, which led to some trouble, and Constance and Hastings are in trouble for that mistake. Mrs. Hardcastle is the matriarch of the Hardcastle family, most notable for her pronounced vanity. Mrs. Hardcastle is a lover of fashion and London life. She lives in a rural area, but psychologically or mentally, Mrs. Hardcastle lives in London. He wants to visit London every season for 2 weeks, and she is very much willing to learn about the latest fashion of the town, and everything that is related to London is important to her. And the problem with this character is that Mrs. Hardcastle is somewhat greedy because she wants to have the possession of the jewels of uh, Constance, Constance Neville, and for that reason, he wants Tony to marry her niece, Constance Neville. This is the problem with the character of Mrs. Hardcastle. Uh, the next character I should talk about is Kate Hardcastle. She is also called Miss Hardcastle in the play, the heroine of the play, and she is able to balance the refined simplicity of country life with the love of life. And Miss Hardcastle is a very simple lady, even coquettish, even she 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 knows how to play a trick and judge her suitor Marlowe. If he wanted to test the character of Marlowe. The next is Constance Neville. Constance Neville is called Miss Neville in the play, and she is the niece of Mrs. Hardcastle, and she is an orphan. Her jewels are kept under the supervision of her aunt. Her aunt wishes to marry Tony Constance Neville, but Constance loves Hastings. Ultimately, Constance Neville has a peculiarity in his character. Though Hastings wanted to marry Constance Neville without any money, without the prospect of having the fortune, Constance Neville did not want. Constance Neville even delayed their elopement just for the sake of the jewels. She wanted to have the possession of her jewels. So she is not like Hastings. She is somewhat different from Hastings. Kate's servant is there, who is called Maid, who tells about Marlowe, believe Kate to be a barmaid. So this is a minor character here. There is a character who is a landlord of the Three Pigeons. Three Pigeons is an ale house where Mary was making fun and drinking, and where he decided to misguide the gentleman Marlowe and Hastings. And the landlord helped Marlowe in misguiding the guests, Marlowe and Hastings. And this is the character of landlord. Then next comes the character of Jeremy. Jeremy is Marlowe's drunken servant. His excessive drunkenness created irritation in Mr. Hardcastle's mind, and Mr. Hardcastle objected against Jeremy. His drunken impertinence often Hardcastle, whatever. And servants' idea of servant is present here in the play, very important. There are servants of Mr. Hardcastle, there are servants of Marlowe. So these are the characters in short. And today, as dear students, today we are running out of time. We are very close to our end of this class. Hope you will attend the next class. Today I'm going to end my class here, and hope I will talk about the next slides, the other important issues of the play in the next class. Thank you for attending the class today. Thank you again.